15-minute meals with Chef Cam. You know, so we're gonna teach you guys how to make some easy, affordable, quick, delicious meals. Get you through this quarantine, regular everyday life, and just when you feel like eating something good, you know? Show you how to get it done nice and easy, nice and quick. Chef Cam TV, 15-minute meals.
Cutting up with Chef Cam.
Let's start off with this steak right here. I'm gonna teach you guys how to get a nice little easy salt and pepper marinade on it. So you want to take your steak, you just want to hit it with some oil, just like that. Salt, pepper, and rub them on in, just like that. Nice. Massage the meat. You want to make sure you get your meat nice and massaged gently, good and flavorful. You know, and don't be no stranger to it. Don't be nervous with it. Okay? You're gonna get it nice and seasoned, good and delicious. Not too much, not too little, just enough to make it soak through the pores of the meat. We're just gonna sit him right there. We got that steak getting nice and ready. Now, so after you get your steak nice and seasoned, nice and oiled up, massaged, we're gonna go ahead and take care of these potatoes. So right here we have some nice little tricolor potatoes, some babies. We're gonna take them, we're just gonna quarter them. We're gonna quarter them, cut them in half, cut them into fours. You know, little bite-sized pieces. That'll work for that guy. And this is something where, you know, you can just kind of go with whatever you like. It's all about your preference. You know, you can get either small pieces or nice and big chunky pieces. I like a little bite on my potato. I like to get nice and crisp sear on them. And I like to get a nice little bite when I cut into it, or whenever I stick my fork in it. I want some substance on them potatoes. Get them right. Let me see, we got these pretty red ones. Pretty purple potatoes, golden, you know, all type of little pretty colors. You got to be very careful with your knife. You want to make sure you have a nice sharp knife. You want to make sure you're cutting right through the potato, right down through the middle. Okay? Always mind your fingers. Watch what you're holding. Watch how you're holding it. This is a finger guard right here where you use your hands. You kind of ball up just like that, right? You place it on the potato, and that's going to be your guard. For those at home who are just learning how to cut, I don't want to skip that part. Be very careful with your knife work. Make sure you're being very attentive to what you're cutting and how you're cutting it. If you want to make your little guard, go right down the middle of that potato, just like that. Okay? When you get real familiar and comfortable with it, you can just go right through them. But when you first start off, you want to be very careful. So then you're going to take your potatoes, just some oil. Nice full drizzle of oil. Coat all the potatoes. Make sure they're all nice and covered. Give them a little swirl, a little toss. You're gonna hit it with some salt and pepper, okay? A little salt just like that. A little pepper. Easy, nice and flavorful, delicious. Okay? You're gonna take those potatoes, we're gonna sit them right here to the side. Next, we're gonna work on our asparagus. So right here we have some good, nice fresh asparagus. And now down here we have the stem of the asparagus, okay? Now this part is very chalky, it's very rough. This is not the part you want to eat. It's very undesirable. So you're gonna discard those ends, okay? Just gonna sit those over here. Just gonna get rid of them. We don't need those. This is what we're looking for. Nice, delicious, beautiful asparagus, okay? So while we have our asparagus ready to go, we're gonna slide our potatoes right off into our baking tray. Got some salt and pepper on there, nice and flavorful, delicious. Just gonna spread them out in there. Nice even spread of potatoes. Okay. Use that same bowl, take your asparagus, throw them in there. We're gonna oil them guys up. And don't skip on that oil, okay? That's what's gonna make it cook nice and evenly all over. Give it a nice golden color. Nice even flavors, okay? Salt, pepper. And that asparagus, you kind of want to massage it in there with your hands. Make sure you get it all the way over there. You're just going to slide your potatoes down there. We're going to put half of our asparagus on here. Okay. We're going to hit them one more time with some salt, some pepper, some good garlic. Okay, guys. And we're going to sew them off right in the oven. Okay. Now, when you get your veggies in the oven, you kind of just want to keep an eye on them. We're going to let them cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. Keep in mind, 15-minute meals. So nothing's going to take over 15 minutes here with us today. So while we're doing that, we're going to get our oven nice and hot. And we'll get our pan ready for our steak. But while we're getting that pan ready, we're going to take us a nice little lemon. We're going to just remember that knife guard. Take your fingers, kind of do the little trick you used to do when you was a kid. Just go right down after that, okay? 3 fingers and the thumb. Nice even slices on these lemons. And you'll end up with some nice little pretty lemon slices. So we got our pan getting nice and hot for our steak. Nice and juicy. See, this is a ribeye. So you can use whatever steak you got, whatever your preference is. Filet, sirloin, ribeye like we got here today. You know, I prefer the ribeye because it has a good amount of fat on there to kind of seal in the juices from the steak. Good marbleization is what you always want, is a good marble steak. See the good lines of fat flowing through there. Got good, nice, sexy red meat, delicious and thick. You know, so that's what you're looking for right there. Good quality meat. Now filet, get you a filet. It's gonna have a nice, soft piece of meat. It's gonna cut through like butter. You know, it's gonna have a good bit of flavor too. But the ribeye is gonna encapsulate a lot more flavor. It has a lot more marbleization from the fat, and just holds in a lot more of that juice and a lot of that flavor from the cow. So I say that's the way to go. Also, a sirloin is very good as well. You know, it's a nice piece of muscle where when you get that sirloin, it's gonna have a good bit of flavor, not so much fat, more so just nice lean piece of meat. If you're ever trying to, you know, keep a lot of fat out of your diet and you want you a nice steak, I would go for the sirloin. But today, we're gonna work with a ribeye. So that's where we at with that. So now we're gonna sear the steak. So we got a smoking hot pan. You wanna make sure your pan is nice and hot. The oil is all ready to go. And you're gonna just slowly drop that steak on down in there. Good hot pan, that's what you're looking for. Move it around. And you wanna have it on about a medium to high heat. So anywhere between medium and high is gonna be good. All right, so when you're searing the steak, you want to move it around and make sure it's getting a nice even amount of caramelization throughout the whole steak. So you see I just kind of move it around to that side, move it around to this side. Because you got to remember, as the steak sits on the pan, that point where the steak is sitting at is losing heat. Okay, so the other side is getting hotter. You can kind of just rotate it around to the hotter spots to get a nice even coat of caramelization on that steak. Nice golden brown. All right, so now we're going to flip over the steak. Get the other side nice and golden as well. You see that? That's what you're looking for on that guy. Delicious. So good. I wish you guys at home could taste it, but I'm gonna give you the game. I'm gonna show you how to make it just like this at home. Once again, we're gonna continuously rotate it around, kind of move it around in them hot spots. So now I'm gonna add some lemon to it. Rosemary, some garlic, butter, alright, so now you're gonna put the heat on the low simmer, and you're gonna start basting that steak with that rosemary and those herbs and that garlic. That lemon. And you just want to keep on continuously covering that steak with the flavor from that butter, that lemon, that garlic, that rosemary. This is called basting. It's a French technique where you just continuously cook the steak with flavors. Deliciousness. Alright, so now we're gonna make a nice gravy for our steak, a nice topping. So we'll take this, use this to discard, get us a nice pretty red onion right here. I love me some red onions because they're nice and sweet and delicious. So the onion, edit that, cut the tips. You don't need that part. I'm gonna peel that first layer off. Remember your guard, okay? So watch your fingers, very careful. Just go straight down through that onion, okay? Straight down through. And get a nice julienne. It's about 1/2 centimeter thick, about usually 1.5 inches to 2 inches long. Okay, nice even strokes, nice even cuts. I'll discard that. And there you have it. We got some mushrooms right here that we're gonna use. Some mushrooms, some peppers, some chickpeas, some onion. So we'll have a nice little Tuscan steak pepper gravy we're gonna add on top of this steak right here. And you can get this stuff from any local Kroger, Walmart, Publix, local farmers market, you know, whatever's more convenient for you. You know, 15-minute meals here with Chef Cam. We just kind of keep it nice and simple, nice and easy and delicious. Nothing too intricate. You know, take whatever preference you have and go get it. All right, so now we're gonna take this same pan. We have our remnants from our steak, our rosemary, our lemon, our garlic, all in this nice pan right here. We're gonna just add our onions to it. Turn it up to about medium. You want your oven on about a medium heat. You want to start these off slow and just let them slowly caramelize in there. All right, so now we got our onions getting nice and cooked through, nice and caramelized. We're gonna add our mushroom to that mixture. Mushroom and veggies. We're just gonna cook these all the way down. All right, so now we're getting these onions and these mushrooms nice and caramelized. So you want nice and dark layers of color and flavor on these mushrooms, okay? So you're at home, you're gonna take your time, be very patient with them. Let them cook all the way down. Get all that flavor consolidated and concentrated right into these mushrooms and these onions. Now once you got it almost right where we want it, we're gonna hit it with this red wine. We got some Moscato, you know, just whatever you got, whatever you prefer. Hit it with some wine. And just let that start cooking up in there. And this is deglazing. This process right here is called deglazing, where you loosen up all the flavors from the pan and those onions, and you're gonna bring them out with that wine, and it's gonna reduce down to a nice, thick, delicious sauce. We're gonna add some of our veggie, this steak base, some nice beef base flavor for that steak. Gonna intensify the love in there. And some butter. We're gonna add some butter to that as well. So now you're gonna gently emulsify that butter and that juice from the steak and the onions. And that's just gently twirling that spoon around. You're gonna use the bottom of the pan, of the spoon against the bottom of the pan. You're gonna nudge it. This is called nudge. This is a French technique where you basically emulsify these two items, which is the butter, that fat, and that juice from the steak and the onions and the mushrooms. You're gonna bind those two things together with this nudging process. That's how you're gonna get a nice, good, full flavor sauce for our steak. You're gonna kill the heat. And that's all you're looking for right there. A nice, sexy, smooth, and delicious sauce. All right, so we got our roasted veggies, our potatoes, asparagus, this beautiful ribeye cut right here. And we have ourselves some good smothered. This is an onion and mushroom demi-glaze sauce we got right here. We're gonna smother that steak right on there, make it nice and delicious. Okay, got my mouth watering just thinking about it. All right, so. All right, and for me, When I finish my dish, I try to make sure it has a good aesthetic, okay? You eat with your eyes first. So when you're plating, you want to make sure your plate is nice and clean, delicious, you know, appetizing for the eyes. You don't want too much going on the plate. We're gonna take that steak. We got our potatoes, our asparagus. We're gonna lay our steak right about the top right there, okay? Delicious. Then we're gonna top it off with our sauce right here. Onions and mushrooms, deliciously smothered right on top of that steak, okay? It don't really get that much better than that, guys. Then we're gonna throw some parsley right on top, just to give it that good, elegant appeal. And there you have it. We got a nice ribeye with some roasted potatoes, some roasted asparagus, a good mushroom and demi-glaze smothered steak. Can't go wrong. And with 15-minute meals, anybody can do it. A chef, a student, a teacher, you know, whoever you are at home, you just want to eat something good, something quick and delicious, here you are.